Hey everyone, so in today's video I'm going to show you that how we can use Python to automate our bug bounty hunting. Now we are going to do all of the stuff manually, so you are going to learn everything from the basics, right? So for this video I'm going to show you that how we can automate the process of, let's say, finding subdomains, and after finding the subdomains how we can extract the valid domains that are running HTTP or HTTPS protocol in it, right? So we are going to see that how we can automate all of this. Now for those who are new to our channel, and if you haven't checked out our website yet, which is bepractical.tech, then you are missing a lot. Just go to your browser and type www.bepractical.tech or just bepractical.tech. You will be redirected to our awesome website, which is over here. As you can see, currently we have lots of contents related to cybersecurity as well as web development, right? Over here, as you can see, we have lots of labs, we have CSR POC generator, and we are working day and night to give you more and more better products, better services, better contents for cybersecurity as well as web development. As you can see, currently we have account takeover labs, and all of these labs are based on real world scenarios, so you can go ahead and practice your bug bounty hunting skills and increase your bug bounty hunting skills, right? So with that being said, also if you are new to our channel, if you haven't watched our previous video, which is how we can find vulnerabilities, how we can perform bug bounty hunting by ChatGPT, then I recommend to check out the video. The link will be displaying on the right side of the screen, as well as you can just click the link given in the description so that you will be redirected to the latest website, latest video. Now let's get started. So first of all, I'm going to open my Kali Linux machine over here. Let's just wait for a few seconds, and as you can see, we are loaded. Let's clear the screen and let me create a new directory. Let's say bug bounty automation BBA, and let's move to BBA. And now let us try to create our own very first automation script using Python, right? So first of all, we need to install few tools that will be required, right? So now our main job over here is that we need to automate the domain finding, right? So first of all, we need to have some tools that can be used to find subdomains, right? And the second one is we should have a tool that can filter valid HTTP, HTTPS live websites or subdomains, right? Now, since in this video I'm going to show you the automation, not about how we can create all these tools. Like, I'm not going to talk about how we can create a tool that can find subdomain and how we can create a tool that can filter valid HTTP or HTTPS protocol, although we can do it. But for this video I'm just going to focus on the demonstration part. So for that we need to install some of the tools. Now for subdomains, I prefer that you can install a tool which is known as sublister, and for this particular problem we are going to use a tool which is known as HTTP Pro, right? So I guess both of the tools are pretty common in bug bounty hunting as well as if you are into cybersecurity, right? So basically this tool is used to find subdomains passively, and the second tool, HTTP Probe, is used to filter out the valid HTTP or HTTPS domain, or you can say subdomains, right? So let us install all these tools into our machine. So to install it, we can type sudo apt install sublister and HTTP Probe. Okay, so HTTP Probe is not going to install like this, but let's just hit -y and let us just wait. And as you can see, in my case it is showing that sublister has already installed the newest version, right? For the second tool, we need to install HTTP Probe right from the Git repository. So we can type HTTP Probe GitHub, hit enter, and you will see this awesome link, the first search result of Google. Just click on that and you will be redirected to it. As you can see, we are redirected, and here's the installation method is given, like how we can install this tool. So simply we just want to copy this and just paste it in the terminal, and the tool will get installed. In my case, I have already installed HTTP Probe. As you can see, if I type HTTP Probe here, it's gonna start running, but for now I'm just going to stop it. So in your case, you need to install it if you already haven't installed the tool, right? Now Once we have both of these tools installed, what we need to do, we need to create a script, an automation script that's gonna do the boring stuffs for us, right? So let's create a file first of all. So create a file, you can type touch and let's say automate.py, and if I type ls, as you can see we have the file created. Now let's open the file using any text editor. I'm going to use Nano. You can also go for Vim and any other text editor that you like. Now here we are. Now we need to create the tool, right? So I'm going to show you how we can create a tool step by step. First of all, we are going to import a library which is known as subprocess. Why subprocess, right? So subprocess is a library in Python which is used to execute system commands, right? Basically, like if you talk about how we can manually find subdomains and how we can find the valid HTTP and HTTPS domains from it. So we first of all we need to type the command, right? Something like this, sublister -t and the domain name, right? And -o, we're going to save the output. After that we are going to view the output, something like this, and then we're going to pipe it to HTTP probe, right? Similar to this. So our job here is to automate this task, which means that instead of us, the Python script is going to execute this command on the terminal, right? And for that we are going to use the library which is subprocess. I hope that you have understood it. And now let's move. For example, let me show you. Like if I type subprocess.call, so call is a method of subprocess which can be used to execute system command. So let's say who am I, right? So who am I is a system command that displays the current user. So let me show you. Shell equals to true, and let's save this and let's try to run this and let's see what happens. As you can see, it has shown Cyber Hunter. So it has executed the command who am I in the terminal. Like if I type who am I over here, as you can see, it has shown Cyber Hunter again, which means that the subprocess.call method is executing the system command exactly that we wanted, right? Now I'm going to clear this and let's open the file again. And now first of all, what we require from the user, right? From the user we required a domain name. So I'm going to create a variable domain equals to, and I'm going to ask the user that enter the domain name, right? Once the user has given the domain name, what I want is I want to execute the sublister using subprocess library, right? Let us see how we can do this. So now once we have domain over here, right, we can just use the same method that we did before, subprocess.call, and over here instead of that particular command who am I, we are going to type sublister -t -o, and let's say the file name will be let's say anything, right, just for the sake of demonstration. And over here we're going to type shell equals to true. So this shell equals to true identifies that okay, this is the command that we need to execute in the shell. If you put shell equals to false, then it will assume that okay, this is an executable file, so it will try to execute the file. But since there is no file such as sublister -t -o anything .txt, it's gonna give us the error, right? So our task here is to execute the shell commands. That's why we have given shell equals to true. I hope that you've understood it. Now the problem over here is that we need to pass this domain name in this code, right? So for that we have a very simple command in Python that we can just use the f string literals. So f, and over here after -t we can just type domain, and this domain variable, anything that the user is going to provide over here, will be placed right after -t. And again I'm just gonna get rid of this and -o, let's say domain underscore sublister.txt. Now suppose that the user has given something like this, let's say batman.com, right? So the command will look something like this. Once this command will execute, so it's going to look something like this, sublister -t the domain name was, let's say, batman.com -o batman underscore sublister .txt. This is how the command's gonna look like, right? And after that, what we need to do, so now we know that once this command will execute, it's gonna save all the subdomains into a file which is named as domain underscore sublister .txt, right? So we can just simply print something like there, like let's say extracting subdomains, something like this. And after that, we're gonna print again something like this. Let's say filtering https response, right? And now let's call the method again. So now once we have sublister executed, what we want is, we want to open the file that the sublister has generated for the output, and then we're gonna pass http, right? So we're gonna type cat, and we know the file name is underscore, this particular file name is the actual file name, right? I'm just gonna copy it, I'm just gonna paste it right here. So just paste it. Now let's do the pipe and http probe, right? And I think something has happened, no worries. Yeah, and comma shell equals to true, right? And now our very first automation script has been created. It's a quite simple script, yet it can be very powerful. If you try to modify it using your own methodology, then it will be great, right? So let me just save it. And now finally, let's try to run this tool and let's see whether it is working or not. For example, I'm just going to type python 3 automate.py. So it is asking for the domain name, right? Let's go with our own domain name, which is bepractical.tech, and let's see whether there is a live domain that it can find or not. Let's see. So as you can see, the sublister has been started, right? Let us just wait for a while. Let's see what happens. Okay, so it has shown that there is no file such as this particular thing, right? If I type ls, you can see there is no file generated. Why? Simply it's because there is no subdomain that the sublister was able to find, right? This is why the sublister was not able to generate the output file. Now let us try to do it again. Let me type python 3 automate.py, and let's go with some other let's say subdomain. For example, I'm going to go with a subdomain, let's say sony.com, or let's say a domain that have less number of subdomains. So what we can do is, we can go with, let's say, my college name, sageuniversity.edu.in, and let's see what happens. Let's hit enter. Let's see. So again, it's trying to extract the subdomains. Let us just wait. As you can see, the sublister was able to find 2 subdomains, right? And right after scanning the subdomains, it simply did the http filtering, right? So both of our command has been executed successfully, right? So I hope that you have understood that how we can simply do this. And as you can see over here, we have the file created as well. Now there was one problem. The problem was that if sublister was not able to generate anything as the output, then what we're gonna do, right? In that case, it is going to generate nothing, and our code was throwing the error, right? So we need to fix that. How we can fix it? We can simply go with nano automate.py, and we can just use a simple command. We can just go with try, and we're gonna intend it inside try. So it is going to try to run this line of code, and if this line will, if this line generates an error, we can simply print out that something like this or no subdomain found at all, right? Let's see whether it's working or not. So I'm just gonna go with python3 automate.py. Again, let's type the domain name bepractical.tech because we knew that we encountered with an error in this subdomain. Let's hit enter and let's see what it's gonna do now. So as you can see, again it has shown the error. Now this is quite interesting if you ask, because the reason over here is, let me show you, nano automate.py. so the reason over here is because the line of code, this line of code has been executed successfully. What I mean by is that sub process was able to execute this line of code, but the shell, the actual terminal, the Linux terminal was not able to execute this code. That's why we got the error at the terminal, not in the Python code, right? So for the Python, it has executed this successfully, but for the Linux, there is some error because the file was not there. That's why it has given us that particular error, right? So to fix it, again, I'm going to show you. We can simply use a check that whether this file is created or not, right? Simple as that. So let me show you. So over here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna check whether the file has been created or not, right? So for that, I can go ahead with something like if, or not with if, I'm gonna go with try again, and I'm gonna go with open. So I'm trying to open that file, right? So just gonna copy this and make sure to use the F string literal. So this is a little bit advanced. If you are having doubts that why I'm using this, then feel free to comment it out, or if in my further videos I'll try to explain, or if you guys want, then I can create a separate playlist for how we can use Python in bug bounty hunting or cybersecurity. So I'm just going to open this file, and so this is the file name and this is the method. So I'm trying to read the file, that's why I've used R, and now I'm gonna go with file.read. So it will try to read the file, and now since we know that if this file will not exist, then what's gonna happen? Then we'll get the error, right? So except if we get any error, then simply print file not found, and then simply just quit the program. Okay, and now our bug has been fixed. Let us try again and let's see whether this implementation has fixed our bug or not. So I'm going to type python3, let's say the domain name again, bepractical.tech. Let's hit enter, let us wait, and right now we should be able to get that file not found instead of the error. As you can see, right now instead of the error, it has shown us that file not found, right? So let me tell you again that why it is happening, because after just finding the subdomain, I'm checking whether the file has been created or not. So I'm trying to open that file. If the file gets opened successfully, then it is not going to go in the except block, because this command will not throw any error and this line of code will be executed, right? But if there is no such file, then it is going to throw an error, and that error will be handled by this line of code. So it will just print file not found, and it is going to quit the Python program. So the Python program will never reach to this line if the file is not there, and that's why we are not getting any errors at all. So I hope that you have understood that how we can perform automation by creating our own Python programs. If you have any doubts, if you have any issues at any point, then feel free to comment your doubts in the comment section. Also, do join our Telegram channel. We have awesome discussions related to cybersecurity and web development that we can just discuss over here. We can collaborate with each other maybe, right? So go ahead and join the Telegram channel. The link is given in the description, as well as you can see it on the screen right here. Also, I am currently running 2 courses on Udemy. So the first one over here is hacking Windows with Python, where I have shown you how. Let me just type hacking Windows with Python. So in this course, I have shown you everything related to how hackers can create their own payload that will be fully undetectable by any antiviruses till now, by the practical way, right? And you're going to learn how hackers actually hack into Windows machines. So you're going to learn exactly like how hackers basically do all these stuffs, right? So we are going to learn from the basics, then we're going to see how we can create our own payload and listener, then we're going to see how we can bind files, how we can access camera, how we can execute commands, and so on. And the second course is a course which is especially designed for those who wants to increase their bug bounty hunting skill. The course name is The Ultimate Guide to Hunt Account Takeovers, as you can see over here. So let me just go back, and if I type account takeover, yeah, so here we are, and this is the course, right? So in this course, I have also demonstrated each and everything that you need to learn if you want to hunt for account takeover. We'll see that how we can dive deep into the application, how we can how we can gather as many information as possible about the target. Then we are going to see how we can find account takeover vulnerabilities through the practical ways. We are going to see the different scenarios, the cases, we are going to study different cases of how hackers have actually found account takeover vulnerability, and also we are going to practice the account takeover skills that are required in the practical way. So yeah, go ahead and check these 2 courses out if you want to. The link is given in the description. Now, with that being said, thanks for watching.